Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah. Om.
Hare Krishna. Can you please confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Fine. So let's begin. Sorry for the late. I had problems with sound system. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Gena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parishana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashyatyadi Satarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So everyone, welcome to our systematic study of Vedic scriptures. We are reading Bhagavad Gita chapter 9. I think last week we started or read 9:17.
9.1.
9 point?
18 we read, Prabhuji, last week.
18 we already read. Okay,
Yes.
19.9. Thank you. So who would like to read 9.19?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't know.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
I'm trying
Apami
to remove
aham
this somehow.
varsham nigranami utrujyami cha amrutam chaiva mrityuscha sat asat chaham Arjuna. Translation. O Arjuna, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. Purport. Krishna, by his different energies, diffuses heat and light through the agency of electricity and the sun. During the summer season, it is Krishna who checks rain from falling from the sky. And then during the rainy season, he gives unceasing torrents of rain. The energy which sustains us by prolonging the duration of our life is Krishna. Prabhuji, I think this, okay, now I can see. And Krishna meets us at the end as death. By analyzing all these different energies of Krishna, one can ascertain that for Krishna there is no distinction between matter and spirit, or in other words, he is both matter and spirit. In the advanced stage of Krishna consciousness, one therefore makes no such distinctions. He sees only Krishna in everything. Since Krishna is both matter and spirit, the gigantic universal form, comprising all material manifestations, is also Krishna, and his pastimes in Vrindavana as two-handed Shyam Sundara playing on a flute are those of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. Very nice. So, last week we were discussing about the firm faith rather than blind faith, and firm faith can be induced two ways. One is through the mercy of the Lord, whether we whether we study scriptures or whether we hear. Nevertheless, I think it is the Lord who is one who is imparting that intelligence, because Lord is saying that I am the one who gives remembrance and also induce forgetfulness based on what we desire. Yeah. So the first source is that Lord is giving that intelligence through which we can appreciate and have the firm faith. And then the other source is also when we take up to the shelter of Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic scriptures. So yeah, a lot better. And this chapter is helping us to understand the supremacy and how the Lord is not just created and left everything on its own, or some claim that Lord has created by chance this world and he doesn't know how to handle, that's why everything is chaotic. Different ideologies claim Lord in different ways, but here we can understand that Lord who has created, who has that great capability, he even has even further capability of maintaining, and when the time comes of destruction or annihilation, a partial or a complete, he also has the potency, because he is not only a personification, but he is a multi-varied energy personified, which means he has innumerable powers and energies, and through that he manifests, maintains and annihilates. And here we take next verse, which is saying that I give heat and withhold and send forth the rain. I am mortality and I am death personified. Yeah. And here he is further saying that Krishna, by his different energies, diffuses heat and light through the agency of electricity and sun. So we know that the power of sun is recognized, accepted all over the world. Yeah, when we are talking about the energy that we are getting from the sun rays, we have the solar panels, and that is absorbing the sun rays, and then everything is transformed into energy, electricity, and then in that way we have solar energy. And then not only that, the solar energy, we can also perceive the heat that is coming out of the solar from the sun. When how to realize that is very simple. When one takes a magnifying glass, and then when this magnifying glass when the rays fall on this, and then when these rays are concentrated into on a piece of paper properly, that rays has the potency to burn, which means that this is heat and also electricity. And there are other ways of electricity that Lord is providing. When we talk about water, water is through the currents of water one can create energy, which means water has the potency or the energy to facilitate the creation. When we talk about plants and trees, they need water. So which means whatever, when something is supported, that is energy. When we're talking here, that just like how water is supporting the agriculture and how it is supporting our own livelihood, without water we cannot survive. This all shows that these are energies through which we are sustained. When we talk about air, we talk about fire, we talk about water, these are different energies of the Lord through which everything is maintained. And here the Lord is also saying, I am immortality and I am also death personified. So Lord is mentioning about the nature, that he is immortal. There is nothing that, okay, some after so many years, then the tenure of just like government, we see the prime minister after 5 years, then his tenure is over, he is gone. It's not the case with the Lord. Lord is eternal, he is immortal, and when the time comes, he is the one who is actually the Kala, the time, through which his energy, different energy, he is even taking away the life from the one second. So the energy which sustains us by prolonging the duration of life is Krishna, and Krishna meets us at the end as death. So when this is what he said, that either willingly or unwillingly, either by becoming a devotee or not by becoming a devotee, one thing is for sure, that one sees Krishna, which is at the time of death. By analyzing all these different energies of Krishna, one can ascertain that for Krishna there is no distinction between matter and spirit, or in other words, he is both matter and spirit. In the advanced stages of Krishna consciousness, one therefore makes no such distinction. He sees only Krishna in everything. So which means whatever we are seeing, this matter, this water, is also Lord, because this statement is very interesting. It says that Lord is both matter and spirit. We usually think Lord is transcendental, he has nothing to do with the matter, material energy, matter and all those things, but he is water. And he is water. Water, we know it is matter, it is an element, H2O. It has a chemical formulation, and one can when hydrogen and oxygen are brought together, then it creates water, which is matter, material. And Krishna is saying, I am that. This rains, where is it saying that I send forth the rains, and both spirit and matter and me. So in that way we understand that there is nothing beyond the Lord. Now that is what is called supreme. When we say the supreme personality of Godhead, what is supreme definition is that there is nothing one can think beyond it. Even in Quran, when the meaning of Allah, I think he is some, no, I have to recollect now, but he is, they also believe in this, that there is nothing beyond it. I mean, they have the rules also, or postulates or principles, where they say to think something equivalent to Allah is an offense. And maybe if someone in the group who are familiar with this can help me to correct, but this is what they strongly believe. So Allah cannot be, is uncomparable. There is no one who can compare to him or his energy, and in that way he is supreme. Since Krishna is both matter and spirit, the gigantic universal form comprising all material manifestation is also Krishna. So it is not that one may say that, oh, Krishna, he lives in Goloka Vrindavan, he is having a spiritual body and he has a spiritual kingdom, spiritual world and all those things. This is only created to facilitate us and he has nothing to do with this. And Hare Krishna, let us go on mute please. And comprising all material manifestations is also Krishna. And his pastimes in Vrindavan as two-handed Shyamsundar playing on a flute are those of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in that way Krishna is covering everything, matter, spirit, everything is he. So that is the reason we are also part and parcel of Krishna. It is not that we are independent. We have a limited independence but not absolute independence. Any questions on this verse before we go on to the next one? No? I take silence as no. Someone would like to read the next verse, please. Am I on mute or no? Let me go through the list then. Tirumala Mataji, are you able to read this verse?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, can you please try?
Trai vidya mam soma pra puta papa yajnair istva swargatim paryante te punyam asyandya surendra lokam asyanti divyan divideva bogan. Translation: those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pure heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. The word Trividya refers to the three Vedas, Sama, Yajur, and Rigveda. Brahmana who has studied these three Vedas is called a Trivedi. Anyone who is very much attached to knowledge derived from these three Vedas is respected in society. Unfortunately, there are many great scholars of the Vedas who do not know the ultimate purport of studying them. Therefore, Krishna therein declares himself to be the ultimate goal for the three Vedas. Actual Trivedas take shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and engage in pure devotional service to satisfy the Lord. Devotional service begins with the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra and side by side trying to understand Krishna in truth. Unfortunately, those who are simply official students of the Vedas become more interested in offering sacrifices to different demigods like Indra and Chandra. By such endeavor, the worshippers of different demigods are certainly purified of the contamination of the lower qualities of nature and are thereby elevated to the higher planetary systems or heavenly planets known as Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, etc. Once situated on these higher planetary systems, one can satisfy his senses hundreds of thousands of times better than on this planet.
Yeah, thank you. So here we are talking about Traividya Mam Soma Puta Papa Yagner Iswa Swargatim, the doors to the heaven, Prarthayante Te Punyam Asadhya Surendra Lokam, which planet? Surendra Lokam, and Asnanti Divyan Divi Deva Bhogan. Yeah, so in that way, if one is eager to have a great amount of pleasure, how can they have? Is also Krishna is saying, of course, it's not that one takes the spirit because if we know that, okay, because after all we are looking for happiness, after all we are looking for pleasure, and that is the reason now Lord has given a great hint of how to seek pleasure. He is that by reading Vedas. That is the secret. That is the secret one can enjoy. After all, the whole secrets are invested in the Vedic scriptures. So why don't we just take shelter of that and extract maximum pleasure of it? This is something like it is something like the desire, that passion that one has, that drives one to do something. And if one is under the influence of mode of passion, mode of ignorance, mode of goodness, accordingly they think accordingly and they work accordingly and they get results accordingly. This is what here it says for the people and who are in the mode of goodness, who are in this mode of goodness and who are in studying Vedas, what they can attain, and drink. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. So whoever is taking Vedas but not having the understanding that ultimately it is through Vedas we are worshipping Krishna, they think that okay, if I am becoming an expert Vedantist, not in terms of understanding but only the Vedas, how perfectly I can recite a particular shloka, how good I can understand the right meter, right tempo without the bhava. What does it will give is, it has its benefits but it doesn't have a complete understanding. Because of that, it doesn't give also the complete benefit of it. What is happening in this is we are using something but doing something else. It is something like we need when we have a tools in our home, when we want to nail into a wall, then what we may do is we may take a stone and hit it hard and then it can go in. But what can happen? Of course we see that okay, we have achieved that the nail went in, but what happens is that it is not done in the perfect way. It is not done in the perfect way, and we don't know what is the overall result of it. We may think that purpose is achieved, but just by thinking that okay, the result is achieved, we are seeing the result, but we are not seeing the ultimate result. The stamina that a screw or a nail can withhold when it is properly hit with a hammer to a sufficient depth, and is the most efficient way. But because we have took up an alternative with whatever we have, with whatever we thought, and then the result is not absolute or ultimate result. So here what is happening, a Brahman who is a Trivedi. Trivedi is the one who is taking rigorous study, remembering all the shlokas in Sama, Yajur and Rigveda, who can conduct many rituals, who is invited, just like when we have a Pandit or Pujari, we invite, and then he just, when he opens his mouth and he is so perfectly with all punctuations, all grammar, he is reciting all the shlokas or all the mantras or all the puja vidhi, then we think, oh, he is great. But when he doesn't has the understanding that ultimately I am doing this as a means of taking shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, then it is an indirect way of worshipping. Of course, he is worshipping all the dravya. He is also worshipping the Vedas, which are also the Lord. But he is not worshipping the Lord directly because he has not developed that understanding. And that's why what happens to them? Actual Trivedis take shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and engage in pure devotional service. Devotional service begins with the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra and side by side trying to understand Krishna in truth. So what should happen is, it is not mere remembering, mugging up, and by hearting the shastras or the scriptures, the verses, or the all these Vedas, and becoming a perfect in terms of that, but understanding in parallel, understanding Krishna in truth. That is what should happen. Unfortunately, there are those who are simply official students of Vedas become more interested in offering sacrifices to the different demigods. What we also see that one who has become expert in these Vedas, when they do not have understood the essence, which is called Vedanta Sutras, or which is the essence of all the Vedas, above, is when that is missed, what is the use? What happens is the person, I remember some incidents where politicians engage such brahmanas, such in their own benefits. What happens is that Brahman who is invited to the house, he is asked to perform something for the wealth or for position. And then there is also this tantric vidya. Through tantric you can achieve something. There is something like if you find a banyan tree, and under the banyan tree if you dig, and inside that if you keep some amla, or there are so many things. The Vedas are telling all these things, and when one uses these Vedas for material gain, that is not perfection. That is not perfection of understanding the Vedas. So what happens is then they start engaging how to please the demigods, and how to achieve material success. And because there is a taste in these things, which is quick benefits, people do not really have develop patience to achieve ultimate success, which is to really understand the Lord. So as soon as you are getting the gain, you forget the rest, which is actually understanding the Lord. So just chanting the mantras to achieve material gain is not the goal, but while we are chanting, which is especially Hare Krishna mantra, what is happening is the purification is happening. And with this purification, because these are the holy names of the Lord, we may ask why, what is so different with Vedas and Krishna, Hare Krishna mantra? It is because the Lord himself said, in Kali Yuga, this chanting is enough, or even perfect. Other things are not suitable. Other things, are not suitable. Why? Because one may not have the purity to chant the Vedas. One may not have the understanding to bring others to the right path. So all these things are missing. The easiest and the most powerful way is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting this holy name, what is happening? Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina, Mananena, Kirtaniya, Sadahari. That challenge that we have, which is always thinking ourselves great, always thinking that we are in the center, always thinking that we are the master, that is gone. Why? Because our heart is purified. What is this? Yagna, this yagna of chanting the holy name. Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So with this chanting of the holy name of the Lord, all victory, all whatever we want, because we want to be successful. The ultimate success one can attain by taking the chanting of the holy name. And what is happening when we are in a position to appreciate the Vedic scriptures or the essence of the Vedas, then we understand Krishna. And when we understand Krishna, then our chanting is improving. And when our chanting is improving, again we qualify ourselves to understand Krishna further, and then again purified, and again further. And in that way, what one can attain is that they can understand that Krishna is everything, and by taking shelter of Krishna is the ultimate goal, which Krishna declares in the 18th chapter, 66 verse. Sarva dharma parignyam cha mamekam sharanam raja. So that stage is a gradual process, and for that this understanding is coming, that one should not take indirect means of worshipping the Lord, but the Lord is available, that one can take a direct service to him. Yeah, so in that way one should take the right path. One situated in those higher and the challenges with this is the attraction. Yeah, the people who may take to this tantric vidya or Vedas for their own material gain, they do all these things so that they purify their self, but not the heart. Only sin's purification is happening, but propensity to commit sin is not purified. Why? Because unless one takes to the chanting of the holy name, thus the heart is not purified. And when the heart is not purified, then independent of how much we clean ourselves, again we enter the same dust and dirt and again get contaminated. So in that way, what is happening is we are, by taking to alternative paths, we are cheating ourselves, thinking that okay, I will have a better life, I will have a better success. But this is not the truth. This is only temporary gain that one gets either in this world or in other higher planets. Are there any questions in this verse? Tirumala Mataji, you got it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Any questions?
No, Prabhuji.
Yeah, clear.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Ramesh Prabhu,
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
yeah, can you read this? 21.
Sure, Prabhuji. Tetam bhuktva svargalokam visalam shine punye martya lokam visanti evam trai dharmam anuprapannam gata gatam kama kama labhante. Yeah. Prabhuji, can you please scroll down? Translation: When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to the mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyments by adhering to the principles of three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. One who is promoted to the higher planetary systems enjoys a longer duration of life and better facilities for sense enjoyments. Yet one who is not allowed to stay there forever. One is again sent back to this earth upon finishing the resultant fruits of pious activities. He who has not attained perfection of knowledge as indicated in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadi Asya Yata, or in other words, he who fails to understand Krishna, the causes of all causes, becomes baffled about achieving the ultimate goal of life and is thus subjected to the routine of being promoted to higher planets and then again coming down. Yeah, as if situated on a Ferris wheel, which sometimes goes up and sometimes down. The purport is that instead of being elevated to the spiritual world, from which there is no longer any possibility of coming down, one simply evolves in the cycle of birth and death on higher and lower planetary systems. One should better take to the spiritual world to enjoy an eternal life full of bliss and knowledge and never return to this miserable material existence. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh Prabhu. So here it's a conclusion. What is the result? Is one may take a lot of endeavor. One may take a lot of endeavor, and in that endeavor is expecting the fruit of it. When the fruit, yeah, successfully he achieves it, it is something like one works very hard for going out on a vacation on that his dream spot where he want to be there. He finally reaches there. It's not forever he can stay there. Of course, if he is very rich, he can decide, okay, let me throw a few more dollars and continue to stay. But no, yeah, his vacation will come to an end, and then he again has to come back to his day to day, and then again work hard, and then again, once he earns more, then again he can go to his dream place and again watch. Yeah, of course, in this connection, there is a, I don't know, some of you know, in Pune, I think there is, or I don't remember exactly, there is one tea stall which is run by a family, a wife and husband. And then this tea stall is not very rich like these days, right? In at least 10-15 years back, food industry or restaurants were run by people who were like okay, struggling, or but now Starbucks and Coffee Day, or Coffee to Go, all these things have come. Even they have affected the tea stalls where people were just making their end by working as long as possible, supplying teas to the people who drink so that they can maintain their family. Yeah. So I'm talking about that struggling, poverty stricken family. But what dream they have is they want to travel all around the world. By the way, this is a true story. I somehow came across. And what they used to do is they have a tea stall, they earn some money, yeah, some money. When they have, then they already start thinking which place they want to go next. Huh? And the wife and husband, who are like yeah, more or less 50 years, or when I have seen, they are already like 65-70 years. But they had this passion of seeing the world. So what they do, they work very hard every day supplying teas. That is the only thing they have, no other business. And then what they do, this money, what can they do? It's not so much. What they do is they take loan from banks, and when they get the money, they go to the place, they enjoy seeing the place, and after seeing, enjoying the place, yeah, they come back. When they come back, what they do, for next 2-3 years again, they are repaying the loan they took, and again they have the dream to visit. In that way, they have covered a good terrain. They have visited so many countries. Um and maybe that is the reason why this became a news. Like how person who is a tea stall owner, yeah, he is Undinadagar, Undi, and in that they had a passion. Their passion was to see the world. Their passion is that what was it that they were getting is when they see other countries, other culture, other lifestyles, they used to have a relaxation. They used to have a realization, oh, life is like that, and then for that is the reason they wanted to do all this. But in the end, what happens is their home is, yeah, um, yeah, still in Pune. Still they don't have yeah, they won't make so much money that they can always have a.
Kerala, Prabhuji, Kochi.
Is it Cochin or
Yeah, Kochi, Prabhuji. I think Balaji Coffee House or something. So there is a old couple, who saved rupee and rupee, and I think they traveled more than some 20 countries.
correct?
There's a nice documentary on YouTube, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, maybe. So I was thinking it's Pune, Kerala. Yeah, but Kerala, that thought can be there, right? Anyway.
Yeah, it's in Kochi. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, recollecting, I saw the text which was in Marathi, not in Malayalam, so that's why I was thinking it is. Maybe I'm mistaken. Yeah. So what we see that is that yeah, they are one way successful because they are fulfilling their passion in whatever way they can. That's possible. Whatever facilities they have, they can manage. And but what happens is the end they come back to the place where they are, and again they have to work out. And this may appear like, okay, what is wrong? What is wrong? What is wrong is that, yeah, they are literally, because time Yeah, we may think that we can do a lot of things in parallel. Yeah, lot of things in parallel, and in that way we may think that we are also working for ultimate cause and also for a normal cause, but it doesn't work like that. The amount of time we are able to give to devotion, the more we give, the more we advance, and that more time we give for our material day-to-day business, the more we will advance there. The difference between two ends or two goals or results, not goals, is one is giving ultimate result, eternal benefit that also comes with us uh, to that stage which we really want, which is Satchit Ananda stage, which is called uh, what is this, Bhuta Bhava Prasannatma. Yeah, in this stage of understanding that we are the spirit soul, and then we will not even want to enter into this world again, because we then start understanding what life it is. Just like if you see, I mean, nowadays I don't know, I have not seen, but when I was in school days, I used to see the people who came to construct, the buildings. What they used to do is, they don't have education, they don't have lavish facilities, but we know that still nevertheless the labor cost was not ordinary. It was also, they are well paid, but what is happening, what is missing is they are not saving. What they do is they spend because they spend money in enjoyment right from day one, or whenever they get the money. What is happening is they are not getting the resources to educate themselves, and when they do not get education, what happens is they live in the mode of ignorance, and because they live in the mode of ignorance, they take up to intoxication or more happiness, more pleasure seeking, and again they earn and struggle, again earn, again struggle. So in that way, what is happening is they are not advancing, they are not developing. We see that these people who are in bulk, um, they are somehow thinking that, yeah, what to do. This is also our position. We may think that, oh, what to do, after all, we are in this world, we need to survive, and that's why we do so many things. No? But what is that when we do not take up to the right intelligent step, which is also gaining knowledge, which is also to purify ourselves, we will continue to be in that world. We will be continue to be present in this world, birth after birth, maybe get some facilities to enjoy, go to higher planets or heavenly planets. But when the results are exhausted, we again have to take back to this. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So here it is said that if we are talking about Brahmins, yeah, but when Brahmana, Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, one who realizes Brahman, which is that this is transcendental. When one does not understand that, when if he doesn't give the endeavor to understand that, but only remembers the Vedas and apply them, just because this is giving that result, this is giving this result, why don't we take shelter of these Vedas? Then they have to repeat in the cycle of birth and death, which means akarmic life. Even a Brahmana, if he doesn't understand the purpose of Vedas and doesn't take shelter of it properly, he is also a karmi, and he is also a Shudra. He who has not attained perfection of knowledge, as indicated in the Vedanta Sutras, Janmadi Yasya Yata, or in other words, who fails to understand Krishna, the cause of all causes, becomes baffled about achieving the ultimate goal of life, and thus is subjected to the routine of being promoted to higher planets and then coming back as if situated on a fairy wheel. So in that way, sometimes he is up and sometimes is down. The purport is that instead of becoming elevated to spiritual world from which there is no longer any possibility of coming down, one simply revolves in the cycle of birth and death on higher and lower planetary systems. One should better take to the spiritual world, better take to the spiritual world to enjoy an eternal life full of bliss and knowledge, and never return to this miserable material existence. So when we earn, I mean, with due respects of how great passion these family, who, I mean, we sometimes feel, I mean, why it was in YouTube, because it gives a proper role model for people who think that our dreams, though we are poor, we can still maintain, so we can still have such a dreams, we can work out a plan and we can achieve. That is the reason, maybe that's a documentary or a newspaper and everything is there to inspire people to work more hard. But what is happening in that is it is only repeated birth and death, repeated struggle and pleasure, but it's not giving the ultimate cause. The inspiration should be to how we can get out of this world, how to escape this place of burning fire forever. Is there a way? Yes, there is a way. Yes, when there is a way, what to do? Yes, this is what should be done, which is chanting the holy name of the Lord and understanding Krishna. Any questions? Anything anyone want to share? Ramesh Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Gaurav Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, I had a question about these Vedas, that do they not mention clearly that we Supreme Personality of Godhead? Why, I mean, they get entangled in these rituals or worshipping of sun and moon god and so on, or they don't take further literature such as Vedanta or as the
So
authentic.
in the Vedas it's mentioned, like, because moon is also Lord, sun is also Lord, right? These are not just like a piece of paper you have cut and pasted it and then it is working, right? So these are also representation or representatives of the Lord, or plenary expansion of the portions, and in that way these are also different energies of the Lord. And of course, Vedas are explaining elaborately about their greatness, and also the qualities, like for example these grahas, right? The planetary system, the planets, how the sun influences, how the moon influences. And because there is this, okay, one, if someone is suffering, the Lord is, I mean, these Vedas are also explaining how can one rectify that, how can one take shelter. Just like if you have in your village or you have a mayor, isn't it? Will you take directly shelter of the president or will you take shelter of mayor?
Yes, local authority.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And then there are ways of how to please. And then there are ways of, and in this description there is one, when one knows that, okay, by pleasing the mayor you have your own facilities, or what you call the layouts, roads and all those things, why don't you will definitely pay taxes, right? But so that is where the Vedas are explaining it. What is the purpose? What if you do this, what you will get? But the Vedas are also telling, which is essence in this form of Vedanta sutras, is that athat Brahma Jigyasa, which is also there. But people, when they think, okay, when they do not know what is the gain of it, why will they take shelter of it? Or when they do not see a tangible result, because it also needs patience, it also needs sincerity, it also needs focus. When these so many things are demanding from us, will we do that? Just like Gaurav Prabhu, every day morning from 5 o'clock to 7:30 you have to do japa, because then you can realize Krishna consciousness far better. You know it, right? Are you doing it?
Yes.
No, right? Why? Because we also have to give. Krishna is not so cheap that it can come so easily. You also have to give yourself, and then some may not do it, but they still expect their life to be happy and blissful, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
When ultimate thing is very difficult, let me take something else so that at least my life goes smooth. Just like when these people who come for construction of buildings, yeah, they could, yeah, when we tell them to take education, proper education system and advance nicely, they would not take it because it's too much difficult. It's too much difficult to understand, because they can't see the result, right? For that, they have to wait for how many years to get €1 or 1 rupee? When did you start earning? After how many years?
24, 25 years.
So much patience, not everyone will have, right? Hmm?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Did you get your answer, or we still
So
have
Prabhuji,
question?
it is, does it mean that in the Vedas it is not, so there is no much focus on this aspect, but in the Vedanta Sutra is?
No, even in Vedas it is there. But why will you see the pages that you are not interested?
Okay. So there are
Yeah,
pages where it is mentioned.
yeah. Ishopanishad, Katha Upanishad. There is enough glorification about the Lord, the supremacy, when everything is created, how this whole cosmos, everything is described. But when people are looking for result oriented, they dig out those processes which are in Vedas, which are really truth, and they take to that.
Prabhuji, some paths such as these Arya Samaj, or they say it is only Vedas, nothing else, like Vedanta Sutra and other literatures. They are not the Vedas, or
Yeah, because they don't want to go beyond it, because they think that this is something came later, and because these are postulated, so they do not want to accept that. But what is Vedanta Sutra is true essence of Vedas, which has to be appreciated and applied.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And that is the reason, right, where we have this Mahabharata is coming. Yeah, because the Vedas were not properly understood. The essence people need to know. So that is how this Mahabharata is a means of understanding the Vedanta Sutras. Because when Vedas cannot be understood, at least the Vedanta Sutras should be understood.
So Prabhuji, this Itihas, Mahabharata is also accepted by all.
I don't know. I mean, Arya Samaj, I didn't enter that realm, and I have not read about that very well. I don't know whether they accept or not.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Maybe
Yes,
someone
Prabhuji.
knows, can tell. If someone had experience in that Arya Samaj. No?
I had seen Prabhuji before that they performed some yagya. So they maybe, as mentioned in the Vedas, every morning some yagya ceremony or something.
Yeah.
For pleasing, but they say, I think that Ishwar is the supreme God, not Bhagavan, or like that Ishwar who is Nirakar, and yes,
that is
these
what
great
they,
yogis like Krishna or Rama, they say them as yogi, and like these who are coming from the Ishwar Nirakar.
Yeah, I was when I was in Kalahasti near Tirupati, when I was doing my engineering, there was one someone who comes from Arya Samaj, and what they, no, maybe I'm mixing with Brahma Kumari, where they have one lamp which is eternally, I mean, since they started, that they want to have this eternally alive, and what they want to do is they go to each place and then they lit a lamp with this, and they keep going. In that spirit they were preaching more about this Lord is divine energy in the form of this light. And so I mean, I went there, I just heard, but I didn't spend more time to know that more. So that's why I don't know. But in Mysore there is lot of presence.
Yes, so for them, this is recommended to worship like demigods, and then go to in the later stage,
Mm-hmm.
go to heavenly planet and come back, and this cycle will go on.
Yeah, I mean, when we do not take direct shelter of the Lord, this is what Krishna is saying.
Mm.
Sagar
So
Prabhu,
Prabhuji, in this example, what you recommended, this local mayor, should we approach local mayor or direct president?
when we know the ultimate problems of our life are not solved by the mayor, now you decide what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that is the distinction between understanding the Vedas and Vedanta Sutras.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Sagar Prabhu, anything you want to add? I don't know. I think I saw him, right?
So I want to add something here.
Yeah, Samir Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
everybody.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So people have different understanding of God and different understanding of cosmic power, and they just do what their clan, their caste, or their spiritual system advises them. So your spiritual journey starts from within when you decide you want to find something more about it. So when you want to find something more about yourself and God, then you go beyond these barriers. Then you go beyond Arya Samaj. Then you go beyond religion, because your ultimate aim is to find the God, right? So it's very important to keep your mind open and understand everything, or try to understand everything. There is no use of doing a debate or asking why people are doing that, or what is the result of this activity. One should be focused on their journey, what they want to achieve in their life. Do they want to find God, and how they want to find God? I think this really helps, because if we keep talking that Arya Samaj is doing this, and some other clan is doing something else, then that confusion will not help us in making progress in our journey.
I mean, I can object this idea because seeking can be quite dangerous, right? If you think that let me seek without any examples, without inspiration from others, without any motivation from others, it can be quite dangerous.
Yes, it can
If
be
you don't see what is the issue that something is going on, and with your seeking ability, if you enter in the same pit, yeah, there are so many people who are stuck and they are not coming, and we don't want that.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to suggest over here is that it's like, since we are part of Krishna consciousness, right? So understand the things in the context of your spiritual master, or in the context of the knowledge being imparted to you. If we start comparing Krishna consciousness or knowledge given by spiritual master by the knowledge of other people, then it is less likely that we are going to make progress. This confusion will not help us elevate.
But
Because
how do we, I mean, see, one thing is to do something, one thing is not to do something. You also need to know that something should not be done.
correct.
Yeah, that is what when we see, then only we understand. Then otherwise we will keep doing everything that comes to our mind.
So I mean, that comes
So
with a
just I give you example. Sorry, just to kind of, maybe if I'm not understanding your viewpoint, in the example of Yudhishthir, right? When in Mahabharata there is this, that Yudhishthir is such a great king, and then when everything is over, the war is over, when Pandavas come to Hastinapur, and then there is this, you know this, right? Where Dhritarashtra wanted to kill Bhima.
correct. Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, Krishna arranges such a way that he saves Bhima. But even after that, or even before, I don't know, one of after that, right? So what happens is Yudhishthir is thanking Dhritarashtra so much. He's thanking, oh, I have learned so many things from you. What did he learn? He learned so many things, how not to be a king like him.
Correct.
When he doesn't study him, when he doesn't know about him, how can he guard himself from the same pitfall that he because of this ambitions that he had? If we don't guard ourselves from that, then we will also have these ambitions.
Right. This is also correct. Yeah.
So this is, I mean, I think a few weeks back we discussed about when Kriya Yoga, because Kriya Yoga practitioners, they also take Bhagavad Gita and say Bhagavad Gita is everything Kriya Yoga. And now if you say that no, we should not, we should stick, we should understand ourselves. Yes, we follow, but we should also understand the distinction and differentiate what is what. Then only
Right.
we can save ourselves. Otherwise, what will think? Are Kriya Yoga bhi yahi hai? And you then you start practicing. If someone comes across, if you say, yes, Kriya Yoga, you are doing, that is perfect, keep doing. You do what you are doing. Are we the person in a position to tell that they are doing perfect? No. Krishna is the one who is telling what is perfect or not. Right? Where Krishna is telling that this whole, he's giving the summary that he's not talking about how to focus on only breathe control and then you achieve me. He's telling practice devotional service.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, Samir Prabhu, did I
Yes.
understand your point of view correctly, and
Yeah,
did I?
yeah, you understood. So the conclusion is that we cannot understand anything without proper context, and spiritual master give us the context.
Correct. Yeah, and that is the reason we need to definitely, we cannot be a self-seekers, thinking that whatever is from inside, what is directing me, let me do that. That is quite a dangerous idea. Yeah. Once, as you correctly said about taking shelter of spiritual master, then our risk is nullified. Why? Because the spiritual master is imparting that true essence, and then we are applying that. And again, in the spiritual master, the same thing comes, whether in whichever sampradaya you are, or whichever school of philosophy you are, in each such school there will be a spiritual master. Even in Arya Samaj, there will be a spiritual master. Even in impersonalistic ideology, there will be spiritual masters, and etc. What is happening is, by taking shelter again to those spiritual masters, what is happening? He is again getting constrained or limited to that understanding only.
Correct.
So what is happening? Their faith is strengthening in that school. But ultimately, if that is not correct, what is the purpose of developing such a faith? Yeah, isn't it? So that is the reason there are ways of identifying who is the authentic or authorized. Now Krishna is saying there is this disciplic succession. Krishna is declaring that so and so persons have been successful. So if we are under that disciplic succession, and whatever they have presented, if we accept it, then only we are on the right path.
Correct.
So not just accepting any spiritual master or anyone as spiritual master will not work. We have to approach the right spiritual master.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Actually, I did not want to give this interpretation that you should be a self-seeker.
No, maybe then I misunderstood. Yeah. No,
I
you're right.
want to give an interpretation that we should
should
also
not.
we should also be trying to analyze the knowledge we get from everywhere, and try to see ourselves also through our mind, that what is right for me, and like you said, Krishna has given everything in the disciplic succession, right? So,
Correct.
so we need to go to bona fide masters, bona fide spiritual teachers who have right knowledge, right?
Yeah, correct.
And you should see by their behavior how they're conducting themselves in their life. People may talk all sort of things, but they may not be doing themselves all these things. So
Correct.
the person who's actually practicing everything which is saying is the right person to seek knowledge.
Acharati iti acharya. So we have to take to the acharyas and take shelter who are following that and who have understood the truth. Yeah. Tadvidi pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya upadesyanti te gnanam gnaninas tattva darshinaha. The one who has seen the truth, darshinaha. What darshana? Tattva darshinaha, the truth, the nature. Only through them, if we approach them, serve them, and then get it, then only we can be successful. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And now coming to your point of seeking, yeah, seeking should be there, not to understand the knowledge, but seeking should be there to understand that how to get access to such authentic or bona fide spiritual master. That seeking should be there. It is something like we take a bus, right? For
Mm-hmm.
taking a bus, we will definitely go pack our things and do a lot of effort, right, to go to reach that bus stop and take the bus. After
Mm-hmm.
you get into the bus, are you driving?
No.
Yeah. So endeavor should be there so that we take the right bus.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Otherwise, after all, na pura pack karke, if you see it in Surat bus and you have to go to Ahmedabad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still be carefree sitting in the bus, but you will reach a different destination next day morning. ये क्या बोर्ड अलग दिख रहा है?
Right. So you have rightly summarized that seeking should be there to find the right path.
Yes.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So I agree with you.
Yeah. Thanks, Prabhuji. It's very nice point.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anyone want to add?
Here, Prabhuji, this so there the many have surname of Trivedi in India. And some
Yeah.
have also Chaturvedi.
Chaturvedi. Yeah.
So this is specifically for Trivedis.
Yeah. I think these Trivedis are Brahmins, right? So yeah, it comes from this, yeah, that since long time there are Trivedis, and who are his sons are also Trivedis and Trivedis and Trivedis. So in that way people became Trivedis. Yeah, even not reading one verse of Veda, they are Trivedis.
Yeah, probably their forefathers had
Yes.
done.
Yes. And there because of their forefathers, yeah, now they have a very good they're in very good position to really take up to the Vedas rightly. But what is happening is we are becoming so busy that we take up to materialism, materialistic ideology, and material comforts, due to which what happens, yeah, we have less time for becoming real Trivedis. This is what is happening, right? At least I have seen so many families who are Brahmins and they have not become proper Brahmins. Why? Because they come on. To be a Brahmin in reality is not an easy thing. In title we can have Brahman, but in reality to be a Brahman means lot. You have to practice generosity, you have to practice compassion, you have to have the charity. Huh? And when in this world, when these things are so difficult to maintain, what we do is we think, okay, compromise the standards. And when we compromise the standards, yeah, I mean, I've seen so many Brahmin families where even morning worship is also not performed properly. And I have seen so many Brahmins who have taken to meat eating thinking, oh, it's the life. In Kali Yuga, it's okay. So that's what happens. I asked, I mean, I have in my hostel, there was a Brahmin who was from Vijayawada, and he came, and within no time he started having a friend circle. And then of course when you have a friend circle, you go to his place and then he comes to your place. One day I was in his room, and then he was cooking something made of chicken something, and then I was shocked and I asked, and he said, oh, come on, yeah, when I go to their place, they make what I like so much. So, and when my friend is coming to my home, let me make something which he likes. And then, are you only cooking for him? You're also eating. Ah, yeah, yeah, Ramesh Prabhu. Yeah,
Yes, Prabhuji.
so many examples
That
that we
is true,
come
Prabhuji.
across. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And a lot
there
of
is.
people have come to Germany also and become
Yeah, I'm telling about
non-vegetarian.
Germany only. Yeah, in German
Oh, okay.
hostel.
Okay.
Because in India he has a very traditional family. He can't even imagine to have meat, a thought. But because
Okay.
now here there is no one to check, right? You have full freedom to do, enjoy whatever you want.
Mm.
That's the time when people start slipping from the traditions, rules and regulations, all these things. The values will come down when we are not on check. I have someone who is a very nice Brahmin, and then he came here. He thought, what is all this nonsense? Yeah, eating meat, maintaining a nice body that I can go to gym and make muscles is right thing, and he does that. Yeah. Anyway, so we are not talking about that. Uh, yeah, that so-called Brahmanas. Yeah. So there are different levels. First of all, being called as a Brahman, not even reading Vedas, that is, and those are not Brahmanas at all. And then the Brahmanas who read Vedas but do not understand the essence. And then the higher, yeah, that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says, yeah, he very clearly with all shastric proofs, he said that Vaishnavas are superior to Brahmanas. Why? Because they have understood the essence of all Vedas is Krishna. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. So without Lord Krishna, it's like open-ended story.
Mm. It's like we can say that all the zeros with one in the front has its own value, right? That one is Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Otherwise, all the notes if you have earned, and all these are, what did Modi ji do that time? Demonetization, huh? What is it called? No, what is that called? He has banned some currency, right?
Yeah, demonetization, Prabhuji.
Right. what what is the use when you cannot exchange it for your gain? Hmm? After all, we earned a lot. We think we are earning a lot. We are doing a lot. All these are fake notes. Then what will we do? All these are false promises. What do we do now? Hmm? We can only do, what is it called? There is people, na, stamp collection, note collection, currency collection, all those things. Maybe we can do that, but what is the value of it? In the end, we can say, hey, you know what? I have become the president of that company. I am the director of this. I am the head of that. All these will not help. All these are only temporary and what do you call? Not real designations that we have. We are only collecting all these. We have earned a lot. We have earned 5,000. We have earned 10,000. We have earn. What is happening? All these things. This is only kind of our. We are covering our real identity and forgetting our reality. So just imagine all these euros are promising you tomorrow's future, right? Like a job, like a status, and that, and this. So many things are we thinking that this will help us tomorrow. And after that, when this demonetization happens, what is the use? Everything is gone. Whatever we thought, like just imagine this demonetization. Good example is a person who has very hard studied his engineering in civil engineering. Huh? He's thinking, yes, come on now, so many construction projects are there and all roads and lands and all those things. By the time he matures, yeah, with his degree, there is no boom, finish. What happens? Gaurav Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Bad luck.
Dreams are shattered, right?
Yeah. So 4 years wasted actually.
Yeah. And 4 years of passion is not small thing.
Yes, correct.
4 years of studies is one thing, but 4 years of passion and living in dream is gone. It's a very, very tough time. And then what will happen? He has to start from scratch, right?
Correct.
If someone is saying, hey, no, I am an engineer, give me a computer, I can do programming, who will give? No, you have to show me a degree which is a master's in computer science.
Correct.
And who knows what happens afterwards. So in that way, what is happening is continuously we are screwed up. And why? Because we have taken up to this false promises of eternal happiness. So if you are lucky, after all you have worked very hard, you will get the result. Otherwise, yeah, you have to keep on moving on. Just like in computer science, yeah, the first thing I came to know is, yeah, you have to study all your life because there are new programming languages and yeah. Yeah, which is absolute truth, right? So things are changing, programming languages are changing. Then what I cleverly did is I moved out. I moved into management, where management is required for any programming language. Anyway, yeah, that is the essence. So we should not be tricked by those fake notes, but we have to really understand what is the real note, which is Krishna, and then we can be ultimately successful. Yes. Anyone want to say before we close the call? No? Then yeah, we have good to close the call. One thing is that Monday, which is tomorrow, or no, Tuesday, I'll be transferring the funds to Gauradesh for sponsoring the festival Gaur Purnima. If someone is still interested and would like to sponsor, there is still some amount left. Feel free to make use. Thank you very much.
But Prabhuji, where to transfer the amount? I mean, we filled the Google form.
Yeah, you can transfer to my account.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay. Then thank you very much. Have a nice sunny, chilly weekend. Here, at least in NRB, tomorrow is also holiday. So otherwise, wish you a very nice week ahead. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.